Hi everyone, welcome. Bruce Swartz here. I'm a ufologist. I study in astronomy. I got a lot of videos of UFOs on the moon, some beautiful images of the lunar surface, and it turns out that there is an alien civilization, some type of intelligent being living up on the moon. That's what I'm able to confirm now with my own research, both with visual evidence and common sense and facts, and now, yes, the UFO reports. You're probably just as excited and just as disappointed as I am with the UFO reports, but don't get so disappointed. Say to yourselves, if they're hiding everything right now and holding back from telling us any truth about the alien retrieval programs, it's because we are there. Now they have to man up. They're being dismantled. Who? The three-letter associations. There's an interagency battle on the inside. A lot of people have problems believing this one. There is an interagency battle on the inside. The government, right, where there are some agents that are horrified by some of the work that they're forced to do. They have gag orders. There's clearances they have to get through. They sign contracts. Get it? Well, I'm not a governmental agent, so I didn't sign any contract. I was confronted by governmental associations. You know, they were curious about the work, but aside from that, right, let's get into it, guys. This is a UFO report. It's a podcast, the UFO podcast that I created because there's so much news coming out about UFOs. And my research, I'm trying to get it out to others. If you're here and you're curious about UFOs or about alien civilizations, and you're looking for true, real evidence, confirmed evidence, start watching the videos. A new UFO report is on its way, and more information coming out about, yes, crashed alien vehicles. And this goes back to the 1950s, but only coming out now. Lots happened in the 1950s. Of course, the end, 1947, Roswell. They're still talking about Roswell. They're still trying to deny it and pass them off as balloons. But a lot of information is coming out now that changes it all. I'm even starting to notice that some of the areas where the war has broken out are some areas where there are some crashed UFOs, like in Seoul, South Korea, which right now on the border, they're lining themselves up. North Korea, right along the border. Is it because they want to retrieve that UFO and the technology? Wherever there's a UFO buried, they're going to be using that technology, and they're going to be using that technology for war. That's right. Not to make peace, but to make war. This next testimony that came out by a whistleblower, it's an insider again. So we have to appreciate these insiders that are bringing out some information, and we have to take it with a grain of salt. Use common sense to find out what part is the bullshit and what part is not. Let's get into the story. Now, what is really discouraging is that when these UFO reports come out, or these testimonies come out talking about events that happened and retrieving alien crashed spacecraft, it's all stories that happened back in the 1940s or 50s that is only coming out now. Just that, guy, should give you an idea of how secretive it really is. Now we're off to Kingman, right, in Kingman, in Arizona. Phoenix Lights, ever heard of that? We're going to an area where there are UFOs that have been caught before that crashed. At the heart of Kingman, Arizona is Route 66. I'm sure you've heard of it before if you're into UFOs. Whether they're just passing through or stopping for a bite to eat, countless visitors have seen the famous logo all throughout the city over the years. But in May of 1953, a different visitor came to Kingman, and they didn't take Route 66. Let's get into it. So it's said that these visitors came crashing down from the sky, slamming into the desert just east of Kingman, according to the UFO researchers. It's a familiar story for those living in Kingman. While many claim to have seen UFOs in the sky above, others think that the so-called crash just makes for a good story. You see, the UFO story is not about whether it's true or not. It's that people disbelieve it. So even if somebody says a UFO crashed, they just say, I don't believe in UFOs. But they have no explanation in their own bloody minds about what the hell the thing is in the ground that crashed, right? So while it's not well known to those outside of Kingman, and it wasn't to me either, and may not be as infamous as the 1947 Roswell crash, Danette considers the incident in Kingman to be the top 5. That's right, the top 5 of known UFO crashes. Very rare to have multiple witnesses and multiple sources of information confirming an incident like this. As to what brought down the UFO, researchers have many different theories: nuclear tests happening nearby, unstable gravitational field lines, or powerful radars being tested around Kingman to combat foreign aircraft. Or, here's what I'm going to add in, they've been fighting with an alien being since the 1940s. But I don't know why. At the Research Center at the Mojave Museum of History and Arts, right off of Route 66, there's a section dedicated to the UFO crash. Old newspaper clippings, sketches, and even redacted government documents allegedly detailing the crash from those who were there. One of the names that kept coming up was Fritz Werner. We now know him to be Arthur Stansel, Danette said. Werner was a pseudonym, Stansel reported, used when he discussed the situation in Kingman. They hid him. Documents claim Stansel was an Air Force engineer, and this is why they hid him. This is a recurring thing, the interagency battle that I'm talking to you about, so it's important that you listen. Who studied the impact nuclear blasts had on homes and buildings. He was one of 40 people transported to the crash scene in a bus with blacked out windows. No passengers were able to see outside and or even know or were even told where they were going. According to the redacted documents, they were told that this was part of a secret project. When they arrived, the reports claimed they saw a UFO measuring 14 feet high and 30 feet in diameter. It was made out of an unfamiliar metal that was plunged about 20 inches into the ground but was not damaged from the impact. It was Stansel's job to basically determine the speed of this object as it came down, based upon the gouge it made in the soil, and he estimated it was about 1,200 miles per hour. Remind you of anyone? Like Bob Lazar, who was working at Area 51? In private, secret projects, right? So they compartmentalize all these projects. So Bob Lazar didn't know who else was working on the projects, and the other people didn't know who Bob Lazar was. And that's how they hide these secret projects. They take away the blame and or the responsibility, right? They don't man up. Oh, it was the Navy, or we sent that over to DARPA. We don't know. DARPA sent that over to the CIA, and then the CIA to the FBI, and then MOUS. Yeah, it's bullshit. And that's how they hide everything. And they continue to do these secret projects and alien retrieval projects. So alien retrieval does not just mean UFO craft. It also means alien technology. So there could be some devices planted here on Earth or built here on Earth that are alien devices. Yeah, like on the moon. Do you see how freaking incredible the story is getting? I believe they are up there on the moon. It's been confirmed in my research, and this is a big part of a revelation that's going to come to humanity, right? We can deny it and say, no, it's not going to happen. We've been saying that since the 1940s, talking about it in the 1800s. UFO retrieval programs go way back to Egyptian times, I believe. It's just quite obviously. And now more information coming out about, archaeological dig sites, and we're finding technology that is far more advanced than us right now. So if there are alien-built objects with alien technology here on Earth, it could mean that we'll be visited by the ones that built them. When we put things on alien planets, we have to upkeep them, maintain them. We survey them, do surveillance. The aliens can be doing the same thing. Our probes, our satellites we sent out, balloons or not, maybe the aliens are not doing it the same way. Maybe they are more advanced. Maybe we're the advanced ones. We're alien to them, don't forget. So back over to the story in Kingman, with this secret whistleblower in his testimony saying that it was 1,200 miles per hour that object crashed into the ground. That's pretty fast, right? Like when they come back from space, and NASA or something, when they say they come back from space, they're not going that fast. Next to the UFO, documents claim was the corpse of the so-called pilot who was described as being about 4 feet tall and wearing a silver metallic suit. It appeared the pilot was dead. Surrounded by military police. Hey, there's confirmation right there that we're working with aliens. That's the first sign that I got. The workers conducted their studies, he said, on the aircraft. The reports don't reveal how long they were there, but when they all got back on the bus, it claims an Air Force colonel who was in charge of the operation made them take an oath right there on the bus to keep this a complete secret. About 20 years later, Stansel signed an affidavit reportedly confirming what he saw. Guys, 20 years later. This is ridiculous. That's just like the Kennedy assassination. There's still some files that are to be hidden 20 more years. Then, 50 years following the alleged crash, now, another secret was revealed. A claim that officials didn't just investigate the crash, they also took it with them. Former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence Christopher Mellon released a redacted conversation between him and a person he called a senior U.S. government member whose name was not disclosed. Imagine how important that bucker is for his name not to be disclosed. It claimed people would be slack-jawed. There you go. If word got out about what they knew and what they were doing, writing that the federal government seized the Kingman UFO. Files are there. These craft are scooped up, taken to various Air Force bases, scientific labs, and they're studied intensely with an intent to figure out exactly what we can figure out about how they work. Have you ever heard of back engineering? Well, that's what they're doing, just like what Bob Lazar said he was doing at Area 51. Despite the reports and alleged witness accounts, Danette believes we will never truly know what happened in Kingman, or if it's true, unless the U.S. government admits to it, which he also said is unlikely. Well, I disagree with that. It's not going to be unlikely. When somebody dies, 50 years down the road, 100 years down the road, people are going to turn around and tell the whole story. They might even change the story. We might not get the complete story, but will the story come out? You can be sure as hell it will, because all these things that we're hearing about only now have been talked about inside of the military for over 50 years. Channel 12 News reached out to the members, that would be in Arizona, I think, members of the U.S. House Oversight and Accountability Committee, which was basically formed probably by NASA and the corrupt people doing the secret projects. So, what's the use? Said they don't have anything on the Kingman crash. Well, would you look at that? However, with more meetings and discussions happening on the federal level, a surrounding topic of aliens and UFOs, Danette is optimistic that more answers are coming, as am I. So let me tell you what I think of all of this. And you can let me know in the comment section what you think of all of this. The UFOs that they are talking about would be governmental. They probably are going to pass it off as an alien entity. I'm not one to jump on the alien invasion bullshit that they're going to try to pull on us, but for them to hide the fact that humans are abducting children and whatnot, in theory, I'm just shooting that in there, human trafficking and UFOs is a lot better than in Tilden white vans, because they've been getting caught all over the states. Imagine the states would never have thought there was human trafficking. Well, could you imagine the other countries? Imagine how many people are being abducted, and for Pete's sakes, are they being taken off of the planet? If ever they were being taken off the planet, we'd have to find a planet close by that has buildings and civilization. Well, the moon, hello, my research is proving it. They are on the moon. There are, I don't know, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, billions. John Lear, in the day when he was alive, not that long ago, a couple of years ago, reached me and said he now believed that there were billions of people on the moon when I showed him the massive infrastructure that is up there, which you can all see in my videos, by the way. It's extremely concerning. So was this situation a hybrid alien? Because now there's all these different terms. It's going to take another 25 years for people to wrap their minds around what's happening, and we're going to have to follow the changes too. Silver suits on aliens. Very interesting. Well, there's a problem, because if ever you've been abducted by someone that has a silver suit, you're probably dealing with hybrid aliens that we made ourselves in laboratories, and that are intelligent enough to go out in UFOs and to do business for the governments here on Earth. How advanced do you think the secret projects could or would be if that is in fact happening? Did we kill that alien? Was that an alien that died in a war around Earth, or was shot down around Earth by some secret radar, or maybe some of the weapons that we know exist now, like in the South Pole, the base that has a weapon there to cause earthquakes and to do a whole slew of things, right? A whole list of a lot of things. Alien retrieval programs. Well, do you guys remember Haim Eshed, defense minister in Israel a couple of years ago? What's up with that? Listen to this. This is what he says. So now, guys, this is bringing us to a very serious situation. The former Israeli space security chief says extraterrestrials exist. And get this, he says that Trump knows all about it. So I want to bring into The subject, the Galactic Federation. The Galactic Federation has been waiting for humans to reach a certain stage where we're going to understand what space and what spacecraft are. And this is what Haim Eshed said. A former Israeli space security chief has sent eyebrows shooting heavenward by saying that Earthlings have been in contact with extraterrestrials from a galactic federation. The unidentified flying objects have asked not to publish that they are here. See the way they said that? The unidentified flying object has asked. Interesting. They don't want to mention who they are, right? Because they say that humanity is not ready yet. A respected professor and retired general, Eshed, said the aliens were equally curious about humanity and were seeking to understand the fabric of the universe. Oh my God, this is incredible. It's incredible news. I hope everyone on my channel has listened this far because it's extremely interesting. There's these new UFO reports that are coming out. But here's the thing. If the secret projects are compartmentalized, well, so is the information that's coming out. So you really have to do your research to be able to go get all this information. But it's coming out. They want to find out themselves what the fabrics of the universe are. Well, isn't that what we are doing? Haim Eshed said corporation agreements, it gets crazy, guys, listen in, had been signed between species. Let me repeat that. Eshed said cooperation agreements, so they're cooperating, okay, on something, had been signed between species, they didn't say one or two species, even scarier, including an underground base in the depth of Mars, where there are American astronauts and alien representatives. Like I've talked about over the years, and I've even made some videos and even funny videos about it and serious videos about it because it makes sense, but it's all coming to light now. There's an agreement between the US government and the aliens. Guys, they signed the contract, he says, with us to do experiments here. Eshed added that President Donald Trump was aware of the extraterrestrials' existence and had been on the verge of revealing it all to the public. Information was supposed to come out, but was asked not to in order to prevent mass hysteria. And then they tried to assassinate him. Just going to add that in there. They've been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general, yes, in general, what space and spaceships are. This is what Eshed said, referring to the Galactic Federation. The White House and Israeli officials did not immediately respond to request for comment, right? A spokesperson for NASA said one of the agency's key goals was the search for life in the universe, but that it had yet to find signs of extraterrestrial life. And that is where I got them by the balls, excuse the expression, in a lie. National security reasons or not, I know whoever's on the moon, that's who they're all talking about. That's what they're trying to keep out of all these UFO reports. That's where the big secret is. And that is what's paying for the system. I'm telling you. Eshed's ideas are spelt out in more detail in The Universe Beyond the Horizon. Conversations with Professor Haim Eshed by Hagar Yanai, published in November. This was years ago, guys. Eshed, who oversaw the launch of numerous Israeli satellites into space, said he was only speaking out now because attitudes were changing and people seemed more receptive. What the hell does he have to be making choices on deciding whether human beings and me, all of us, have the right to know what the hell is going on? Well, here's the problem for them. We're being contacted by these beings over their heads, over the heads of the governments. And the governments cannot keep track of all the experimentation for whatever reasons they're coming here. I'm just adding experimentation because it was mentioned here by Haim Eshed. I hope you're listening this far, guys and gals. I hope you did listen to this podcast. It's so extremely interesting. If I had come up, he says, with What I'm saying today, 5 years ago, Hamish said, I would have been hospitalized, he told Yeti. Today, they're already talking differently. I have nothing to lose. I've received my degrees and awards, he said. I'm respected in universities abroad. I'm pissed off that you kept that, as a secret, like a lot of you are doing, because you're all signing stupid gag orders and y'all have clearances y'all can't get through. It's pissing me off. In May, Trump said, space is going to be the future, both in terms of defense and offense. We're now the leader on space, as we have presented with the official flag of a newly created military branch, as you all know, the Space Force. Its focus, along with Space Command, where I said was on the moon, by the way. I'm telling you guys, Space Command is on the moon. We will hear this one day. We will hear this in the news one day. Bruce said it. Is on space as a military domain for the U.S., preserving satellites and communications and a focus on geopolitics in new terrain. Eshed's comments immediately spawned jokes and theories online. Of course, those are the idiots that try to hide the information, try to downplay the situation, the seriousness of it all, right? At least half a dozen accounts have been created on Twitter claiming to be representatives to Earth from the Galactic Federation. Other users have asked for preferential treatment and meetings with the otherworldly group. Nick Pope, who used to investigate UFOs for the British Ministry of Defense, described Eshed's remarks as extraordinary. Either this is some sort of practical joke or publicity stunt to help sell his books, perhaps with something having been lost in translation or someone in the know is breaking ranks. Pope said the UFO and conspiracy theory community was excited, but that questions remained, including whether or not Eshed was speaking from direct personal knowledge and or experience, or whether he is repeating something that he was told or that he heard. There are still some missing pieces of the puzzle here, right, guys? Of course, there always will be. So if you haven't thought of this yet, what I'm going to mention right now, the fact that they could be abducting humans, there could have been a human deal done with another species where we can offer some technology to them. They will offer some technology to us. We will give them some of our people. They will give some of their people to us. But hang on, not to have picnics, probably to be experimented on. Are they just using dead bodies, or are they using living bodies? And both sides, vice versa. Are humans being abducted and experimented on by extraterrestrials? We know that humans, our own species, are doing it to us and trafficking and everything. Could aliens be doing this too? So that's a very scary thing to bring into the story and everything. So I do believe that there would be mass hysteria. I guess my heart would jump and pitter patter a bit, to know that we're being abducted, or that they're here. It's a deal, and that it's been ongoing for a long time, and that more are going to come, and that we're going to be seeing it more, and that we'll witness and experience it ourselves. So that's going to play on our minds a lot, right? So I'm telling you, stay positive. This has to come out. So what's going to come out, it's not something new. Say to yourself that. It's something that's already been going on. So yes, I would like to know what happened a long time ago with abductions or experimentations, and I really do want to know what part the government has in these alien retrieval programs and technology. They don't have the right to use it for war and to use it against us, that's for sure, because you can be sure as hell that that's what they're doing. I hope you found this UFO Reports podcast interesting. My name is Bruce Swartz.